Hi everyone, happy Thursday. I hope you're doing well today. I wanted to use today's Facebook Live to share with you an example of a set it and forget it system. I talk often about building systems as a way to get more done with less energy and using a model that we created called set it and forget it. So there's three components to a set it and forget it system. As a reminder, the first is a trigger, and the second are tools, and the third are actions. And so I wanted to use a simple example today, and that is one for confirming appointments as an example of how to build a set it and forget it system. So for confirming appointments, to build a system, we first need a trigger. And the trigger in this case would be a certain time every day. So say every day at noon, you or your virtual assistant will log in and start to confirm appointments. So that's the trigger. It could be anything. It could be a certain time of day, or maybe it's when you ask them to, whatever the trigger is. But we want the trigger to be as automated as possible. And just as a clarification, I define automation as a limit, something where a decision is not required by you. So automation could be technology or machinery. It could be delegating to your VA, or it could be even an example I like to give, a simple example, is laundry detergent. You know, if you're using the laundry pods, you don't have to decide how much detergent to put into the machine. And that is an example of automation. You no longer have to make that decision. You no longer have to take that action of pouring detergent into a measuring cup or a scoop. And that's an example of automation. So when I say automation, I don't mean just technology. Okay, so we have our trigger. Every day at noon, your virtual assistant is going to confirm appointments. So what are the tools they need to complete this system, to do this system? Well, first of all, they need access. What do they need access to? They need access to your calendar. They need access to your phone system, because presumably you don't want them calling your clients or potential clients from their personal phone number. You want them calling from your company phone number. You can use stuff like Google Voice or Grasshopper or something like that. They also need a script for leaving a voicemail, and maybe a separate script for a live call. And then they need the parameters for rescheduling. Let's say you only take client calls at certain times a day, you take potential clients at other times a day, and then all other calls are on another time of day or days of the week. Maybe you only do them on certain days of the week. So if someone needs to reschedule, your virtual assistant needs to know the parameters so that they can reschedule them in the appropriate time. And maybe you charge a fee for rescheduling or something like that. Then your VA needs to know that in order to take the proper action. So those are the tools. They have access to your calendar, access to your phone system, scripts, and parameters for rescheduling and or canceling. And that's the second component. The third component is actions. So what actions do they need to take? Well, when triggered, therefore every day at noon, they need to log into your calendar to find the contact information for all the appointments of the next day. Then they need to log into your phone system and call them one by one and either leave a voicemail or converse with them with a live script, or converse with them live. If any rescheduling needs to happen, or canceling, they need to go through the parameters to take care of those, and then they're done. Now, the last step might be that they need to update you, and that depends on your preference. Do you want them to text you? Do you want them to email you? What do you want them to say? Do you want a summary of each person? Left voicemail, confirmed live, rescheduled, canceled, or do you just want them to say all done? So that depends on what you want to know, and therefore you can set that expectation with them. This is after you've completed that, this is the action I want you to take as far as updating me on what you've done. So there you have it, a very simple example for building a system. We had triggers, tools, and actions. Trigger to get this work started, tools to complete the work, and actions defining what work needs to be done. And you can really build these around any system that is repeated and therefore requires less decision and action on your part. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's great, but I use a calendar app and they send confirmations and reminders anyway. That's fine. That's another, you've built a set it and forget it system through your software. Totally fine. Some of you might want a higher touch. You might want someone actually calling your clients or your potential clients, and therefore a VA would make more sense for you than a software. So whatever works for you. My point though is that automation does not equal software. Software does not equal automation. It's whatever works for you and your business model. That's a side note there, but just wanted to share with you an example of a set it and forget it system. If you'd want more ideas, pop a comment on what type of action you'd like us to build a set it and forget it system around, or share one that you've built for yourself. In the meantime, we'll see you next week, and I hope you're having a good day. Thanks. Bye.